And welcome back to the final part of Inside Politics. This afternoon, the president is expected to speak in Nyahururu. The president was actually in Nyahururu before 10 a.m. He was very early. And politicians across different platforms are also speaking. And one thing that you're sure to get this afternoon is issues revolving around the organized, or seemingly very organized show of unity as displayed by the young people, the Gen Z majorly. And they told me the other day that their lawyers are millennials, and them now they are taken to the streets. They're sure they're getting, and their parents. Maliba, you have a Gen Z in the house?
No, but when I was...
I'm just giving you a few seconds.
I was actually,
grab on.
I'm just saying, when I was going through the demos around City Hall, Kaduna Lotunga, actually was putting on a jacket. When I talk about a jacket as in coat, we millennials will call it a coat, but Gen Z would call it a jacket. Then they said, watching lawyers were pity. Just because we were putting on coats.
They're lawyers because they need you at the end of the day. But they shouldn't be needing lawyers, because what they're doing is guaranteed under Article 37 of the Constitution. So, gentlemen, I'd like to begin with Afanya Mambo. We are looking at Tuesday again, right? Super Tuesday. The young people are going out on the street. One thing from where I sit, I believe these young people are not violent. I believe they should be given an opportunity to speak out, because you speak out at the end of the day, you'll have to go quiet at some point, right? So they're saying where the bill is, the debate also starts on Tuesday, right? For now clause by clause approvals, right? Yes. Yeah, the committee stage. So they don't want it amended, they want it thrown out in whole. I understand from Otende Amolo that the budget 2022-20 transitioning to 2023 was extended, the financial period, to allow the government to settle. So it's not a problem. And that is a provision that they're also utilizing to say, throw it out in whole, not in part. So Tuesday, what are we likely to see? What do you want to see on Tuesday, especially from the government and from the young people?
Number one, why are we addressing Gen Z and making it appear like they are the problem? Gen Zs are not the problem. The problem is not that they're on the streets. The problem is that the government made a horrible finance bill. That's where the problem is.
Who are we? You said, why are we addressing Gen Z?
No, the country is addressing Gen Z.
The country, yeah.
And the country is thinking that Gen Z is the problem. Gen Z has just reacted to a horrible finance bill, period. You withdraw the horrible finance bill, these people will go back to the lives they were living. So even the president, when he's going to be there, please don't make the country and give a speech as if the young people are the problem. The problem is not the young people. The problem is that this administration has come up with tax measures that have not been had in a long time in the whole world. They are draconian, and they are horrible, and they are not acceptable. You withdraw them, the problem is gone.
Let me ask you.
So in fact, if they were to withdraw tomorrow morning, even the Tuesday demos would not come. We can continue using the 2023 finance bill. We can continue, we have contingency funds, we have a lot of monies that I don't want to talk about right now. Because let me explain something here, Ken Mijungu. For Kenyans, you know, I have a habit of breaking things down and making them very easy for us to understand. It's like you in your house. You wake up, you make a budget for your house rent, for your steamer, for your food, for your everything. And then to that budget, you add entertainment. You add some foreign trips. You add some allowances for your wife. You add some allowances for house renovation. Then you add some allowances for benchmarking here and there. And you even add allowances, you even add money to that budget to buy new cars, and by the way, you had cars. And then you start going out there and telling your neighbors, I have a budget deficit. I don't have enough money to run my budget in my house. But you've put in a huge provision for entertainment. You've put in a huge provision for you to go and do benchmarking in other neighbors' houses or wherever it is that you want to go. You've put in a huge allowance for your wife to buy makeup and hair and so on and so forth. You've actually decided to change your whole fleet of cars at home. And then you are wondering why your budget for the year is not working. Why don't you go back to the budget itself and start expunging those useless things that you had put in the budget, or those things that can wait? We have seen this government buy very many new cars. We have seen this government do things that could have waited. And that is where it is. Kenyans, break it down simply. It's your house. You've budgeted for things in your house, and some of the things that are in your budget should not be in the budget at this point in time. Let's go out there and look at that budget and start saying, can this item wait? Last year, the control of budget told us that this country spent 139 billion in entertainment allowances and hotels and accommodation and travel and so on and so forth. And then now you come and tax Kenyans to the point of killing them to raise 139 billion for such useless trips to the hotels and so on and so forth. So first and foremost, we can expunge 140 billion from this budget by doing so. We have seen the DP's fleet, new cars. We've seen the president fleet, new cars. What was wrong with the cars that were there? I mean, these were presidential cars. Some of these things is what is inflating the budget and making Kenya Kwanza now start thinking of how to raise money.
Have you done calculation out of the 40? Have you done calculation possibly if we did away with some of these contentious allocations, how much we will be reducing this budget with? I would think by now
I haven't gotten there because I'm already doing a lot of work trying to tell these people that first they need to check the budget because that's where the problem is.
But I think progressively, if we did that, for example, we removed the 600 because already I saw the Treasury Cabinet Secretary removing 178 in anticipation of some of the contentious clauses, 178B.
So we won't need the finance bill.
And I have the list here.
2023 will work.
2023 will 178 less to about 200.
Just remove.
But would you progressively, because I know I will talk to you again, progressively, would you just look at it in terms of if we remove the what we call now spousal allowances, right?
Anyone proposing that we stick with the 2023-2024 has not read both documents. This document is much easier, lighter, and even better on the
budget
Kenyan.
Has been maintained.
We've gone much lower by 180 billion shillings. We've shed unnecessary weight. The financial, outside of the passion that you see, I was just saying, Fanyamambo here is proposing that we stick with the 2023-2024.
No, he just said if we remove the 200.
If I were to do a qualitative argument the way he's actually going, the 2023-2024 is more punitive than 2024-2025.
Wait.
Okay.
I was about to finish.
I have about
and I know
11
after
minutes.
This, I don't even want to talk again because I'll just say my closing remarks. Yes, I'll donate all the other minutes. Let me tell you. So where are we moving?
Closing remarks?
Yes.
We'll not be talking.
Me. Then the rest of you will.
No, him.
I will not talk again. I'm donating every other minute. We've always been providing a way forward and a direction for where we are going. And we have had this conversation, and the Gen Zs and the millennials and you who are listening, the next round of the fight, this is where it's going. You've seen the parastatals under the Ministry of Energy. There is one that I won't mention right now on TV because we shall get there, where I know one procurement officer whose parking within the last 2 years now looks like a showroom for high-end motor vehicles. In fact, there's one new 2024
How do you allow gossip?
I haven't mentioned the name.
That is gossip and rumors.
But he said he knows.
The rest of us don't know. That person is not here.
He should give. And he's not mentioned the name Maliba. He's not mentioned the name. He just said.
Ken, we have got young people in the streets.
Please, listen to me.
And we are allowing rumor mongering.
No,
gossip.
How is it a rumor? And he said
this is gossip. The guy is not here. He should name names.
Maliba.
As it is everywhere. If you make a serious allegation, you prove.
No.
Maliba, if I say I know Maliba is driving a 2024 Prado, I know.
You say you know Maliba. Not like I know a procurement officer. You see, this is blame trap, and this is polarizing.
Okay, to get over that
this
point.
Is what I'm trying to say. We know these public servants. Their salaries are in the public domain.
Name names.
It is known for how long they have been working. It is known for how long they have been working. And it is known the houses they are living in and the cars they are driving today. The next round of fight is we shall start naming public officials. We shall make known what they are driving. We shall make known how long they've been in government. We shall make known how their salaries are. And it shall become, you know, even in the African traditional society, we used to ostracize people. If you do things that are against community standards, we shall make it so uncomfortable for them to drive those cars. What has used our Endeshe Probox? If you want to drive those cars in this country, you are going to do it either as a private citizen or a business person. But you cannot be a public official who has worked for 1.5 years, and you have a 2024 Prado, and you have 5 other cars in the parking. The new strategy, and we are moving there, and we are getting there very quickly. We will name every public official who we believe that the life they are living is not in tandem with the salary they are.
That one is supported 100%.
Okay, Anthony.
Then what was your problem?
The problem is giving names and lying about it.
I think
there should be a lifestyle audit.
When Fanyamambo was mentioning all that amount that is allocated to X and Y offices. I think he was alluding to how government is spending its resources, and he was alluding to a lot of wastage. And I think that has been generally well covered by the administration with the austerity measures that have been put in place. The president has been very clear in some of the steps and measures that need to be taken so that we reduce wastage in government. And that includes cutting off half of local and international travel and the office tea that are unnecessary, and also cutting off recurrent expenditure by 30%. So when we say that we do not want to implement this finance bill, where do you expect us to raise resources to fund public expenditure? So
what is the alternative you're giving us?
Yes, what is the alternative? Because most of the people who are coming forward to, bash the finance bill, there are no alternatives that are being given. We have honed and seasoned economists in our country. All of them are bashing the finance bill. What other options are you giving? We know we have to fund public expenditure, and we also know the conundrum that we have of public debt. On the issue of the Gen Zs again, just to finish on that issue, definitely Article 37 gives them that opportunity and leverage to do demonstrations and picketing. However, we've also seen on mainstream media that some of them are going overboard, and up to some certain level, it may feel that, and it may seem like they are provocative towards the police. And I also want to commend the police force for using minimal force in trying to combat them. There's a saying in Kikuyu that says, a woman's womb births both a thief and a witch. So everyone who is demonstrating and picketing, not everyone has the same agenda. Different people have different agendas. Of course, we have the ones that are doing it as their civil right, and there are others who are doing it for content creation, and there are others who are funded. So even as we move towards the coming week, if at all there'll be any demonstration, we call for organized and disciplined demonstration from our youth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Funded. I really want every time someone mentions these are funded, the government has a very long arm. They are able to determine who's funding these people. I really wish to have a discussion on funding with proof on the table. Anytime I hear funding, I really want to know who is this person who has the ability to fund the young people in their numbers to get out of the street. And not only in Nairobi, you can fund Nairobi, Eldoret, Kisumu, Mombasa, Kilifi, and all those things. But as you spoke about austerity also and the measures the president has put in place, the question that came to my mind is, what message are you sending when you tell us, I have nimefinya huku, nikafinya huko, but I can still do a 200 million shilling trip to the UAE? And to date, gentlemen, as I go to Dismas, the UAE has never admitted to having funded the president's trip to the US. I mean, it was denial and admission. You know this.
This is the point.
You know this as much as I know. Admitting is easier than denying.
No, he wants to eat into my time.
No, he will not. He will not, because it's this time. I have about 3 minutes. And it's so easy to say, yes, we funded. When you keep quiet, when you deny it, it's like a denial. Keeping quiet is like a denial, because saying yes
is it
easier.
A state policy in UAE to respond
You
to?
see, now you're spinning this thing.
Officially?
You're spinning this thing. It's so easy to tell Kenyans, yes, it's true, we are the friends of the president, and we funded.
The UAE national policy is not responsible
We're
to us.
We're not going to talk about the national policy. We're talking about President Ruto taking a $2 million trip and us proving that it's $2 million, and the president said it's not $2 million. I was funded by my friends, and then we ask your friends to say that yes, we funded to Malize debate the way the president said, and UAE is not talking. That's a denial.
Article 37 of the Constitution 2010 does not apply to them.
Include, including 38 association also does not apply to them.
Ken, 3 points.
Yes.
The Gen Z demonstration has reminded the administration that they must remain sensitive to citizens, stakeholders, and partners' expectations. That they must carefully and prudently manage expectations. If you don't manage expectations, if you do not communicate, you create a vacuum, And then the vacuum is going to be filled by misinformation and disinformation. And we know countries in Africa, actually all over the world, where disinformation and misinformation is a threat to national security. So the administration must be very careful on how they manage their public communication, because failure to do that, there's going to be a lot of propaganda, misinformation, disinformation. Number two, the Kenya Kwanza scorecard is looking very well. When you look at the scoreboard, they're very impressive figures. And in my view, there must be more resources spent in making sure that Murai in Mosocho understands why the government is taking particular decisions. If Murai does not understand, then when you get, it refers to it as a negative messaging. When you get architects of negative messaging coming on board, they will easily sweep. And then number three, in my view, we must place a huge premium on economic diplomacy. And it's economic diplomacy which is going to address the issues Gen Z are raising. For instance, they're talking about employment. When you get many more investors... Actually, Maliba doesn't even deserve a minute. I deserve an hour. We need to get a lot more FDI coming in. And also, we need to get Kenyans who've got capacity and competence to go and work abroad. In my view, there is nothing wrong if, for instance, you say he's been spinning stories, maybe you should go and work at the United Arab Emirates. They may be needing his talent there. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
And please close the show for us. Just close the show, our names, and then we go.
Number one, the Finance Act 2023-2024 is much difficult, or rather harder, if we were using the metrics that people are using in the streets to argue. It's actually harder than the 2024-2025. Because we've actually brought in a fiscal consolidation from 4.3 trillion shillings. We've actually gone all the way down to 3.9, and even that 3.9 trillion shillings has been further cut by 1.8. So the truth is that the Finance Bill 2024-2025 is actually lighter on Kenyans as opposed to the previous one. But then there were necessitating reasons as to why we are doing the things we are doing. We might not have communicated well. Two, to the young people out there and all the people who actually are in this particular movement, we hear you, we support what you are doing, specifically since you are actually doing it within the confines of the Constitution. Once you actually have spoken up, and we will not force you to tell you this is when you need to shut up so that we also talk. No, talk. Also allow the other side to speak. But rejecting is not the solution. Procedurally, you amend. What you don't like, you remove. It's just like saying that this country is bad, it should be dissolved, kila mtu aende pande yake. That should not be a solution to our problems. Then, finally,
we will be off here in a second.
When you have got blame generators like Fanya Mambo, when you have got blame generators like Azimio of old, when you have got blame generators like Kimbi Kimbi and the others, you cannot live. This is speaking to the audience that I work for, and the system on where I'm actually, the other side on where I'm on this particular table. No country today in the world leaves its internet unmanned, even for a day. You cannot leave the internet unmanned. When we're talking about unmanned, because it's a conversation, you should also ensure that your voice is out there. We cannot be out-communicated when we actually are the generators of the content. So it is not wise, neither is it safe for us to leave the internet unmanned. Finally, to Gen Z. No, I'm finalizing in one.
Because,
to the Gen Z outside there.
Don't allow him to.
Well, can I? These guys actually, this is the noise that comes into communication, especially when government is communicating.
Please,
now
we have to go.
Yeah, to the Gen Z out there, welcome to the beginning of the rest of your life.
Okay.
And to the rest of Kenya, this is going to be the new normal. Okay. Also, welcome to the beginning of the rest of your lives. Do not expect that there's going to be any other way of doing things going forward. It's actually adjusting and fitting in. Okay. Millennials like Ken Mijungu now want to become president. Generation Zers now want to actually have their voices heard. It is a new country, and a new country needs a new thinking. We must all adjust to the new way of doing things.
Thank you, Maliba. Asante sana. I wish we had 3 hours, but we don't. Thank you so much, Anthony Ngeru, for coming, and hoping to see you again on the table. Didmas Mokua, thank you so much. Channel Maliba, as always, and Fanyamambo Kinuthi. Asante sana. If we had more time, we'll have proceeded with this conversation, but the week is just beginning. A lot of things happening out there. I'll try and have you on the round table on my show on Wednesday. All right. Have a good day, and God bless.